when we're disconnected from our bodies and we're disconnected from ourselves, we're not in touch with the subtle emotions, we're not in touch with the subtle sensations that get activated and aroused when we are in intimate connection with a partner. So the only thing that really penetrates through this disconnect is the hyperstimulation and the visual stimulation that porn offers, which is one of the reasons why when people start watching porn, they have to progressively watch more intense porn or something that's new and novel because they have to continue to get that same level of hyperstimulation. Whereas I think when we do the healing work, when we come back to our bodies, when we do heal the trauma and the emotional wounds, things that Gabor Mate's compassionate inquiry approach is so effective at, that all of a sudden we are more connected with all the subtle sensations that it's almost like a full body arousal rather than only essentially being sensitive to or aware of the orgasm, as is the case for some men.
I love that you brought it back to compassionate inquiry and getting in touch with our bodies and those sensations and emotions. I'm curious to know, first of all, how long have you been involved with compassionate inquiry?
So I was one of the first students. I would say I think I was in the second cohort rather than the first cohort. So I started a few months after the first group went. So I think that was in early 2019. But as soon as I started CI, it was like the perfect fit because I had been engaged in somatic practices for years. But what I lacked was the vocabulary to really understand what was happening within me during these practices, like Vipassana and longer sittings and longer meditations. And I lacked the understanding both to articulate what was happening within myself, but also how to communicate it to clients and others that I wanted to help so that they can have these similar explorations. So CI gave me the language that bridged the gap between mind and body. So it essentially turned me into the therapist that I am today. And shortly after the glove fit perfectly. CI was very unique in every way, where it was the first modality that I embraced and said, I don't care about the credential. I don't care about the letters. I'm here to learn, solely to learn. And I really honored that, so much so that I never really put my hand up to lead or try to take on a role. I just sat in the back of the session of the room and I was involved. I did all the extra practices that you could. I was reaching out to people in the Facebook group to get extra practices. I was doing all those things, but I was there to be a student and nothing more. And when the year ended, I was surprised that I was invited to be an intern in one of the upcoming groups. So I interned, and halfway through the internship, the way the universe works, the facilitator said that she couldn't manage her present workload and that she was moving away from this cohort. And after she had seen uh, me facilitate, because all the interns get a round of facilitation. So I facilitated a meeting. She said, you and my fellow intern, you two can handle this. You two can facilitate the rest of the year. So we were just, me and my colleague and friend Pam, we were just thrown into the deep end of facilitation way earlier than we thought we were going to. And here we are. So right after that, we both Pam and I have continued on. We're both continue to be facilitators, and it just fit. It was the right fit, and we're continue to refine our understanding of CI. And I think the best way to learn is to teach. So what a gift it's been to be a facilitator and a mentor in CI, because with each student, with each group, with each experience, with each therapy session, it really does deepen and refine the understanding of this magical tool known as CI.
So it sounds like when you first did your study on self-perceived problematic pornography usage and mindfulness, or specifically meditation, you were already familiar with some practices that were similar to compassion inquiry with the somatic components. So I was going to ask you if CI has changed your relationship with porn or given you a different understanding at all of that process.
Yeah, I think that it's the words and the nuance and the subtlety. So some of the bigger sort of relational patterns that I had stumbled across led me to radical acceptance. Again, your shirt says it aptly and beautifully that that I accidentally almost stumbled upon through practice, through meditation, because essentially that's what I was practicing in every meditation sitting was, can I say yes to everything that comes up within this sitting? Can it be a universal yes and an allowing of this somatic experience? CI is what sort of really chiseled away my understanding of what was happening and why it was happening, and helped me to connect the dots to a deeper, richer understanding and appreciation, and a sense of gratitude for what this young nervous system, when I was a young child, what this nervous system had to go through in terms of the way it adapted to its environment, the way that this little guy inside of me had to adapt to his environment. So CI provided the clarity to something that was already naturally happening, which is again why I said it was just this natural fit. It was just the next progression.
Sending you lots of love. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and check out one of these lovely videos. Thanks for being part of this community, and we'll see you next time.